In this session we are going to see about the spiral model. So in the last session we have seen so many software process models. So in this session I'm going to tell you some information about spiral model. Alright. So spiral model is one of the most important software development model, right? So it is one type of evolutionary development process. So in the last video I had told you about prototype model, which comes under evolutionary process. So this is also one of the evolutionary process, which is nothing but an iterative process. So spiral model highly supports the risk handling. So here the risk handling is done at various phases. So during the development of our software, we just find out what are the risks and how those risks can be reduced, right? So we could see that in the diagrammatic representation after a few seconds. So in diagram, if you see that it is in the form of a spiral, right? So spiral is nothing but it is in the form of loop. So this model representation exactly comes in the form of loops. Okay. Exact number of loops of the spiral is unknown and can vary from project to project. So the diagram, whenever you see the diagram of this model, it is in the form of loops. So the number of loops may vary depending upon the project, right? So each loop of this spiral model is called as one phase. Okay. The exact number of phases needed to develop the product can be varied. So as I told you, phases of this model will depend upon the project. So those phases may vary depending upon the project requirement. So we need a project manager who will take care of this model at every phase. So it has also got some radius, and this radius of the spiral model represents the cost. So depending upon the radius, we will come to know what are the expenses carried out during the software development, and the angular dimension represents the progress made so far in the current phase. So this is the introductory part of the spiral model. Now let me elaborate you more detail in the diagram. So coming back to the diagram, you can see here that as I told you, see, this is the first iteration, okay, this is the second iteration, this is the third iteration, and this is the fourth iteration. You can see that these are different loops. So the loop will begin from here, right, and coming back to here, it is ended over here. So where it is the one loop, so this is the second loop, and from here it goes to the third loop, right? And from here it will go back and complete to the last loop. So you can see that this quadrant is all about determine objectives, alternatives and constants. So this quadrant is about determining objectives, alternatives and constants. So objectives are nothing but the goals during the software development. Alternatives, so some alternatives that are needed to accomplish these objectives. Constraints, some rules and regulations and allotments needed during the development. So this quadrant is all about evaluate alternatives, identify risk and resolve the risk. So here this basically this area, so you can see that this quadrant is all about what whatever objectives are finalized here, those are evaluated in this quadrant, and we identify what are the risks during the software development, and we also find a solution in this quadrant. So after that, this quadrant is all about what? Implementation and designing. You can see here that we focus more on validation, verification, we concentrate on design. Okay, during the design some models and benchmarks are developed. We also concentrate on coding and some part of testing. So testing, you can see that here the testing comes in the final phase, that is the last phase. So this quadrant is all about what? Designing, validation, verification, testing, as well as you can see that integration and implementation. Okay, and this will be the last quadrant, or you can see that here we make a proper plan, right? So we make a proper plan, and during the last you can see that it is discontinued from here because the system has been deployed to the user's desk. So The spiral model is also called as what? Boehm's spiral model. You can see that there are many spirals here. So each spiral, okay. So you can see that each spiral is called as one phase, okay, or it is also called as loop. So phase or loop. So each of the loop will indicate one phase, right? Each of the loop will indicate a phase. So this is nothing but what? The radius. So this is called as the radius. So this radius, what the radius indicates? The radius indicates the cost or the expense that is carried out. Okay, the radius will indicate the expenses that are carried out. Okay, so what you can say? Radius will indicate the expenses or cost that are carried out during the development, right? And you can see here the angular representation. This is what an angular representation. All these are called as angular representations. Okay, so what these angular representations are going to denote? So here you can see, as I have described here. So our angular description, it describes all about, see, it's here, the radius of it represents the cost, and the angular dimension, okay, represents the progress made so far in the current phase. So you can see that during each phase the development occurs. So the development occurs at each phase. So during first phase one analysis is made. So some objectives are finalized. Suppose we want to develop a software product. We take some objectives, we implement some constraints, and then we review it, and then we do risk analysis. So what is all about risk analysis? So this detailing you can study in the next unit, that is unit number 2, but still I will tell you what is risk analysis. So risk analysis is all about risk analysis. Alright, so here I was telling about risk analysis. Here what we do is we identify what are the constraints and objectives, and depending on that we make a study. We make a study to see whether those objectives can we finalize those objectives, or whether developing a software process or a software product is feasible cost wise, and like team wise or resources wise. All this comes under risk analysis. Okay, so after making a risk analysis, what we do, we go for a prototype 1, that is the initial development. So here by taking certain available requirements we develop a prototype. So after developing prototypes, we make some entries, right? We make some entries in a requirement documentation. We also develop some models, right? We also develop some benchmarks, right? So we do all these things, okay, in the first phase, and then we also develop some part of code over here, and then we handle that prototype. Then we hand over this prototype to the customer. Then the customer will start using this prototype. Customer will start using this prototype, right? And then again, if there are any flaws or depending upon the feedback obtained from the customer, we go for again the second cycle, right? So that is requirement plan, life cycle plan. So we take that, and again we develop new objectives, and again we go for second prototype, right? And we carry out some validation process. Again taking the feedback from the customer, we go for the development plan. So again we go for the third prototype. So in this way we develop a set of prototypes. Okay, we develop a set of prototype during each phase. So you can see that during each phase, right, the risk decreases. So during each phase the risk decreases, okay, and our performance increases. So here during each phase we find that there is a reduction in the risk and increment or growth in the software development product. So each phase we can see that the risk will decrease, and we can see that the software development process improves, or there is a growth. So this continues until we see that final prototype, or a final prototype is designed where it will meet all the functionalities, right? Considering here that this is a final prototype, and observing that it has solved all the risk and all the software development functionality has been obtained, we go for the last phase, right? So in this, so yeah, here I was. So considering that this is the last stage, finally, which has satisfied all the needs of customers, we go for detailed design. And after detailed designing, we finally move towards the unit code. So if there are n number of modules, we develop code for all those modules. We perform unit testing, that is, we test each individual module. And when we find that every module is error free, then we combine all the modules and we do integration testing. So in integration testing, we combine all this code which has already gone through unit test, and then again we perform the entire integration testing. So we follow different methods. So this testing, it may be automated or semi-automated process. So here we combine all the modules and then the integration testing is performed. So testing is always performed to check whether your system is working correctly when the inputs are given, whether your system is providing you the right outputs or it is taking the data properly and processing the data properly. So all manipulation on the data is done correctly or not. So all together, all your forms in your projects are, or in your software products are tested. Then finally the acceptance testing. So in acceptance testing, it has to pass all the other tests, and at the last stage we go for acceptance testing. All right, and after considering that this is the last phase, after considering that the software product is ready to be deployed to the customer desktop, we finally stop here and deploy that product to the customer's desktop. All right. Yeah, so hope you understood the working of spiral model, right? So it is divided into 4 quadrants. This is the first, second, third, okay, and the fourth quadrant. Each loop here is nothing but one phase, right? So there are n number of loops here. So this number of loops depends upon the project requirements. So the looping may continue until we get a final design, or you can say a final prototype, so which is ready to be converted into the software product. So each of the loop, right, each of the loop will resolve some risk. So in first loop some risk factors are resolved and it will give us the second phase. In second phase we find that some risks are resolved and there is a growth in the product development. So each quadrant, each angular quadrant tells us about the growth of our software product. Fine. So in examination you can just go through this diagram. Okay. Now, so a bit more explanation about that. See, the spiral model has two main features. So working of this spiral model, basically it is carried out in two features. Okay, one is cyclic approach and second is anchor point milestone. So what is cyclic approach? So as I told, it is nothing but the system's degree of definition and implementation, right? So that depends upon the degree and implementation, right? So as I told you, implementation grows with every increment. So the performance of the software product increases with every cycle, right? And the degree of risk goes on decreasing. Yes. Okay. Second, anchor point milestone, which ensures that stakeholder commitment creates feasible and mutually satisfactory system solutions. So just so you can see here. So as I told you, see, these are the milestones: simulations, models, and benchmarks. So these are called as what? What you can say, milestones or anchors, right? So these are milestones or anchor. At each phase, one milestone is generated. So simulations, models, and benchmarks. So by taking that information, we can proceed to the next phase. By taking these models, we can go to the next phase. So these three things, that is simulations, models, and benchmarks. So what are simulations? Simulations are nothing but some models. So prototypes, what initial prototypes are created, those are called as what? Simulations. Okay? Yes, so where I was exactly? So here you can see that after completion of this model, okay, yeah, so you can see this is nothing but the anchors, points and milestones. So this is all the explanation of the above diagram. So overall it tells us that at each phase some milestones are created, okay, some benchmarks are generated, fine, and each of the process is carried out in the clockwise direction. Each phase is carried out in the clockwise direction as you have seen in the above diagram. So more clearly they have told us here, milestone is a combination of a work product and a condition that is reached along the path of spiral is noted after each evolutionary pass. So this is a way to define a milestone. So depending on milestone we will come to know where exactly we have reached, right, during the software development after completion of each phase according to our project plan. So cost and schedules are adjusted based on the feedback derived from the customer. Each of that phase is also implemented as a circuit, fine. So each circuit represents us some criteria during the development. So first circuit is all about what? Development and specification. Second circuit is about prototyping. Third is about designing. Fourth represents the coding. Fifth represents the testing, and last spiral represents as the project enhancement. So as per this diagram, you can see that the first, okay, yeah, first circuit represents us all about the specifications, okay, and all about requirements. So second represents us about the risk analysis, next about prototyping, next about designing, and lastly about testing. So in this way each circuit or each loop has got its own importance of working in the spiral model, fine, yeah. So this diagram also represents about the 4 different phases. So you can see here, this is the first, second, this is the third one, and this is the fourth phase, okay. So first indicates objectives, second phase, that is the second quadrant, indicates about risk, okay, and resolving the risk. The third indicates about the coding, designing and implementation of the product, and the last phase is all about reviewing and moving to the next phase. So each one of that is called as a quadrant, and this is a radius and this is the angular dimension. Each radius will indicate about the cost, okay, and when it moves to the next circuit, that is when it moves from this phase to the next phase, we find that there is a performance increment or growth in the software development and reduction in the risk, okay. So hope it is clear. Yeah, so I will also see, right, I have also given you some explanation about the quadrants, okay. So you can please go through that explanation. Already I have told you in the sessions, right. So first is about objectives, okay, and identifying the solutions. Second phase is all about what? Finding, right, or identifying what requirements you have taken, evaluating the requirements and finding out the best set of requirement. So for whatever requirements you had collected from the customer, here you are going to finalize a requirement set, and then after making some risk analysis on that requirements, you decide whether to move to the next phase, that is a prototype building with the proper information set, fine, okay. So after you develop or after you decide to design a prototype, right, in the second quadrant, then you move forward making its design, okay, development and testing. So in this third phase, right, so you can see here, so in first quadrant what we do, we decide the information, we take all the information from the customer, and then in the second phase what we do, we try to make that information set more relevant and more feasible, and then here in the second quadrant we develop a prototype by taking this information set. And in the third phase what we do, whatever prototype has been developed, we go for its designing, we go for coding, and we go for testing. We also go for validation and verification here. So this is a major quadrant, you can say. After collection of requirements, finalizing the requirements and developing the prototype here, and then in this quadrant you write the coding, you make the designing, you go for testing, right? And again you go back to the after giving that product to the customer in this phase, you decide whether to develop a new set and new prototype. If you find that the developed software, okay, it is a final product, we won't go to the next phase, we stop here, but this process continues, right? So let us take an example. Suppose we are developing a software product for library. So here we take the information from the library, okay, then here we give that information set, and the designer and developers will finalize the information set and develop a prototype, and then they go for coding, unit testing, integration testing, okay, and another types of testing, and then they give that product to the customer. So customer will use that, and if the customer gives us a feedback and in that feedback we find that some information is missing or some functionality is missing, we again go to the first quadrant, and here again we collect new information, here we develop the new prototype, and then again we do the redesign, and then we make a testing and again provide that product to the customer. So this process is cyclic. Each process is cyclic. This process continues until we find that we have obtained a quality product which is satisfying all the needs of customers. Alright, see, this is the first quadrant. In second quadrant we do risk analysis and prototyping. This is the final prototype. So during that second, it will provide us some models, some benchmarks at each phase. Then in the third quadrant we go for what? Designing and testing and validation. Okay, designing, development, validation, verification and testing. So this is the last phase, hence we go for some integration testing and entire system testing. So in the fourth quadrant we decide whether to go whether to repeat the process or whether the final system is obtained. Clear to you? Okay, so in examination you can just go through that points, right? So first you can have a basic explanation of what is a spiral model, then go for this model. If it is asked for 5 marks, I can say that the explanation of feature is enough. If it is explained for 10 marks, draw this diagram also, and this is all about explanation of the phases, right? So just revise it, right, and we'll go for the next point now. Now let us make a review of the next points. A risk is any adverse situation. What is exactly a risk? A risk is any adverse situation that might affect the successful completion of a software project. The most important feature of spiral model is handling the unknown risk after the project has started. Such risk resolutions are easier done by developing a prototype. The spiral model supports coping up with the risk by providing the scope to build a prototype at every phase of software development. So this is overall, you can say that description, small briefing of your spiral model. It says us that a risk is nothing but what? A situation which may affect, okay, during the completion of a software development, or these are the factors which may come in a requirement or at the early stages of the software development. So by using a spiral model we can say that there is a very low risk, okay, during the software development. Now let us go, okay, shortly to the advantages. So what may be the advantages of a spiral model? Okay, yeah. So first major advantage is risk handling. So in risk handling you can see that what exactly is the advantage. So as I told you, the project with many unknown risks that occurs during the development. So at the initial stage itself we give more importance to the risk. At the initial stage only we resolve the risk. So at every prototype the risk goes on decreasing and the growth of the software development keeps on increasing. So this type of model is basically used for large and complex project. So here, so flexibility in requirements, yes, of course, because we develop first prototype and then we give to the customer may again provide us a new information, and we keep on developing or updating our system with the changing requirements. Hence we can say that this model provides us flexibility, right? So, or you can say that it can cope up with the changes that come during the software development. So because of this flexibility, we can see that there is lot of customer satisfaction obtained here. Yeah, because all the risks are resolved. Hence we can see that there are very low chances again of obtaining any risk. So that is all about advantages, right? Now let us go back to the disadvantages of the spiral model. So what may be the disadvantages? See, the spiral model is much more complex than other software development lifecycle models. Yes, because as you saw that there are different number of loops. It is an iterative approach, it is a repetitive approach. We require a skilled trainer to go to this model, as it is a quadrant process. So we have to build a prototype, again we have to make a designing, we have to make a write the coding at every phase, and then give it to the customer, and then the customer will provide us feedback, and again this process continues. Hence this is bit complex, which is also expensive, and more importance is given to the risk analysis. So you can see that we need the highly skilled employees, one who will try to find out what may be the risk at the initial stage or at this every stage during the prototype development. So that's quite difficult in time management also. Yes, because as this is used for a complex project, we cannot predict the time at the beginning. Some basic timing can be predicted, but still we can see that that's the difficulty, not in time management but in the prediction of time, how much time exactly the project may need, because it is a constant continuation, or you can say that a changeable approach where the requirement keeps on changing, the design and code may also keep on changing. So until and unless the customer is happy with the product, or even the developers feel that this is the final product which we need to deliver to the customer. All right. Yes, so this is all about the disadvantages of spiral model. So guys, just go through all the points, okay? Go through the diagram, go through the explanation, and then if it is asked for 10 marks, try to also include advantages and disadvantages. Fine. So yeah, so here we are at the end of this spiral model. So I'll be seeing you in the next session. So it's Neil Nagauka here signing off, and have a good time. Bye bye.